Ben 10 Omniverse is the best version of Ben 10. Let's get into exactly why that is. Ben 10 Omniverse is the third and final iteration of the Ben 10 Prime timeline, coming in prior to the 2016 reboot, and seems to be one of the most overlooked series, excluding Ultimate Alien of course. The series introduces the most major changes of any series, with the largest differentiating being the art style, quite drastically so. I was originally hesitant to check out the show, seeing the initial snippets of episodes here and there, assuming it was a reboot itself, only to find out after seeing episode 1 that it was a continuation picking up after the events of Ultimate Alien's conclusion. The overall tone of the show is much more comedic and flowy. It has an absolutely huge amount to offer. It's a great jumping point for anyone who hasn't heard of the series, and while at the same time being such a great expansion of all the existing lore people have already seen the previous two. Today we're getting into everything I love about the series and the series in general. Massive spoilers ahead. I just basically spoil everything that happens in the show, so if you haven't checked it out and you care about spoilers at all, please probably jump off here. Getting started with the art style change, the leading art director being the late Derek J. White, who also worked on shows such as the 2003 Teen Titans, Legion of Superheroes, and most visually similar Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. The show has such a distinct look in comparison to the previous two series. While they do have their own sort of style, especially Alien Force sort of leans into the style of the time, being very action cartoony. I wasn't so fussed on the look of Omniverse at first, but I've come to absolutely love it, especially the colours which make a welcomed return after their absence in Alien Force's era. Omniverse feels so unique. It's such an enormous grand spanning finale to the series. It first aired on September 22nd, 2012. It ran for a pretty grand 8 seasons in total, only getting better with time, ending with a payoff that brings even more depth to the previous series. The timeline of Omniverse picks up where Ultimate Alien left off, but the show actually begins with a flashback from a 10-year-old Ben fighting a new villain, Malware, a galvanic mechamorph, the same species as Upgrade, being defeated by Ben's newest alien, and a bit of a mascot for the series, Feedback. We then continue with a current day story, Ben, Kevin and Gwen chasing down one of Ben's earliest villains, Zombozo the Clown. This is where possibly the most divisive event in the series happens. Gwen and Kevin go off to college, Gwen being admitted and Kevin going along with her. Also in between the series, Ben accidentally broke up with his girlfriend Julie while raging in a video game while on the phone to her, not realising what he's saying to her at all. Ben's now a team of one, working alongside the plumbers but feeling confident as the Ben Tennyson who saved the universe time and time again. We're introduced to the new villain Kaiba alongside this super cool looking alien dog Zed, who herself can transform, giving Ben a spider monkey a great deal of difficulty in their fight, only returning when Kaiba recalls her. We learn of Undertown, an alien settlement underneath Ben's hometown of Bellwood. Ben investigating businesses around an alien mafia who has been forcing businesses to pay them for protection. During a battle in one of those businesses, we're introduced to Rook, a plumber sent by Grandpa Max to be Ben's new partner. Ben, who initially doesn't feel so warm towards Brooke and initially rejects him. We're then introduced to Blocks, an alien who had their fair share of criticism and was used by skeptics at this point to make fun of the series. And to this day, a little bit. We see how Rook works alongside Ben, being much more by the books and much more particular with his work. Zed transforms into another alien monster before disappearing off when Kaiba calls him again. We're introduced to the head of the Undertown Mafia, Vilgax's old henchman Siphon. Ben battles against Zed again, while Rook takes down Siphon. At this point, Ben isn't so keen on Rook, but with a bag of chili fries, Rook wins him over, officially becoming partners. My one criticism of Rook's character is he takes things extremely literally. It slowly eases as the series goes on, but it's just not something I absolutely adore about the character at first. We're introduced to Ben's arsenal of aliens. We particularly get a lot of the aliens from the Andromeda Galaxy, introduced an Ultimate Alien who I just absolutely adore each and every one of. Speaking of alien transformations, Omniverse does such an incredible job at adapting and redesigning a lot of Ben's older roster, but we do get a handful of really great new aliens. The new aliens include Feedback, my favourite of the new batch, Blocks, who's a Lego gorilla, Gravitac, who's a gravity-controlling rock top-heavy monster, Ballweevil, who has plasma balls that he can roll around, Crashhopper, who's a giant grasshopper who can jump high, Astrodactyl or Pterodactyl, who can fly with a jetpack and has energy projections, Walker Trout, who's a slippery little fish guy, Molestache, who has a prehensile mustache that can function as a weapon or like helicopter blades, Pixie Dust, who is wildly powerful and can put anyone to sleep, Kickenhawk, who is a big strong chicken man, Topic, who's another horrific alien, Vampire, who's basically a superhero vampire, Gutrot, who can create and manipulate gas, Atomics, who's a walking nuclear power plant, Transformers meets Dragon Ball character, Bullfrag, who's a big strong frogman, and The Worst, who's an alien called The Worst, who is an indestructible, nearly useless little guy. Omniverse has a massively grand feeling to it. The scale feels enormous, spanning multiple dimensions, multiple timelines, and a really vast universe on its own. Each element of the story just builds and builds upon itself, enriching everything we've seen in the previous series. We see the dynamic between Ben and Rook grow stronger as their bond and familiarness with each other grows. At the start of the series, Ben's cockiness is an all-time high, which for myself, and I imagine many others, feels very frustrating. We see this character arc repeated in Ben's past over and over again. Things kick off when Ben and Rook discover an abandoned ship that belonged to an extra-dimensional species that created the universe, holding a device called the Annihilag, which is a device that can create and destroy universes, which results in a fight breaking out between all sorts of characters, leading to the Annihilag being turned on. Here's where we get one of the more major events in the series, Ben transforming into Alien X again. Once again, stood still watching the universe being destroyed before his eyes, Ben couldn't stop it this time. The universe is gone, everyone and everything he's ever known is completely gone. This is where we get a glimpse into what Ben as Alien X can do. Serena and Velicus give Ben control over Alien X, allowing him to recreate the universe, undoing the Annihilag's activation. This universe, however, is slightly off, but for the most part, it's how we remember it, bar from a few slight changes. Everyone else at this point thinks the device was a dud, the universe is still here, they have no idea what happened, not believing Ben after he tells them what happened. We get another flashback introducing us to Malware. We're also introduced to Zed and Kyber, as well as a new cerebral crustacean, Dr. Psychobos. Fun name. These three villains joined forces to create the answer to the Omnitrix, the Nematrix, a device worn by Kyber's dog Zed that allows it to transform into whatever species is the predator of whichever alien transformation Ben is using at the time. I love this concept just as much as I love the designs for each of these predator species. The predator for Humongosaur especially, it's so fun seeing how each alien just is destroyed by whatever their natural predator is. These predator transformations putting Ben on the back foot in just about every single encounter. We get to see a flashback of Ben being told by Azimuth that he's over-reliant on the transformation feedback, using him over every other alien in the Omnitrix. In this flashback, Malware attacks Ben again, ripping feedback out of the Omnitrix, leaving Ben significantly less powerful, and somewhat traumatized. Back in the present day, Malware destroys Galvan's moon, absorbing the power from it and attacking Galvan as a huge kaiju version of himself, defeating Ben and his most powerful alien, other than Alien X at that point, way big. Absorbed inside Malware, Ben's able to restore feedback, defeating Malware, leaving him a near lifeless husk, having feedback completely returned to the Omnitrix and being back at his prime self. From there we get a handful of really fun adventures with so much variety. We get to see the return of my favourite villain Albedo, who goes ultimate again. The best mini arc in the series where we get to see the Anor system, the home of Frankenstrike, Ghost Freak, Blitzwolfer, Snarrow and now Vampire. All these less major plot points do so much for world building. The series just oozes with personality and just so much life. This series has a really great rogues gallery that just genuinely comes close to some of the greatest in fiction, including Spider-Man, Batman, whoever. We get a few really great episodes that reincorporate Gwen and Kevin taking place at Gwen's college. We have the Incursion arc, who are a race of frogmen who try and take over the world. A crossover with the Secret Saturdays, which is a hugely fun inclusion. The next major story arc comes with the reintroduction of Professor Paradox. Vilgax joins forces with Eon, an evil older version of Ben who travels through time. The two have assembled an army of evil variants of Ben, as well as Albedo. This evil army of Bens fight against a series of good variants of Ben, including my personal favourite Ben 10,000, who in the Omniverse's future timeline has the Biomatrix, allowing him to fuse aliens together. Anyway, Vilgax sets off the Chronosapien time bomb, wiping out every single version of Ben 10 other than No Watch Ben. Thankfully, moments before being erased, our version of Ben, Ben Prime, gives No Watch Ben the Omnitrix, before Paradox takes it back in time to the moment Ben discovers the Omnitrix, revealing it was actually No Watch Ben and Paradox who is responsible for Ben getting the Omnitrix in the first place. No Watch Ben defeats Vilgax, transforming into Clockwork, undoing the time bomb, and reviving all variants of Ben. In the next arc, we're introduced to the Rooters as well as Kevin's new backstory. The Rooters are a group of special plumbers who come out of the Null Void, with their only goal to be eliminate Ben, seeing him as a universal level threat. When Ben was 10, Kevin was 11, the leader Cervantes ran into a young Kevin, using his osmosing ability to fuse people with alien DNA, giving the Rooters their powers and creating the Amalgam Kids. He raises them to join their side. This explains where the Plumbers Kids come from in Alien Force. The Amalgam Kids try to take up Ben, resulting in Kevin's new Amalgam form, before failing, leading to Cervantes wiping their memories of the events. After the Rooters return from the Null Void, Cervantes restores the memory of the Amalgam Kids, leading to a head-to-head between Kevin and the other Amalgam Kids against Ben. Kevin becomes an Amalgam once again with the Omnitrix's new roster, only double-crossing Cervantes, being fully in control this time, only pretending to be crazy as a way to get close to it. This is a great way to wrap up Kevin's arc. I love the idea of him being in control of his Amalgam form, no longer suffering from this madness that was so built up in Classic and Alien Force. Right before that, we see the Celestial Sapiens, Alien X species, come down to Earth, taking Ben to court, due to him tampering with the universe when he recreated it. Ben opts for a trial by combat against the Galactic Gladiator, defeating him and gaining full access to the power of Alien X, clearing his name, resulting in everyone in the universe knowing exactly what Ben did. And our final arc, the Time War. We're introduced to Skurd, a Slimebiot who attaches himself to the Omnitrix. Skurd feeds off of alien DNA, being able to adapt aspects of each alien onto other beings, being able to create weapons and swap out appendages or whatever. This section of the story focuses on two future beings who have been sent back in time to assemble pieces of an evil Chronosapien, Maltruant, reconstructing him. Maltruant, who is played beautifully by Mark Hamill. Maltruant's goal is to go back to the beginning of time to set off an Annihilag to recreate the universe in his image. Ben and Rook are able to disrupt Maltruant's time travel, keeping him stuck briefly in the 1700s. A past version of Vilgax comes to Maltruant's aid, being gifted the Chronosapient time bomb from earlier. This is where Vilgax first sees the Omnitrix in a battle against Ben, vowing to have it one day. George Washington is there and then invents the plumbers. Maltruant manages to re-enter the time stream. Maltruant as well as Ben and Rook enter a white void where they see the multi-dimensional beings shipped from earlier. This time being inhabited by them, the Quantumalia. In Ben's eyes, taking the appearance of Mr. Smoothie Cups, taking the form of whatever those who view them as greatest desire, appearing as Maltruant to Maltruant and Rook's father to Rook. We see Maltruant's plan come together. He replaces the Annihilag with his own. After a battle between Ben and Maltruant, the Annihilag goes off. Initially being caught by feedback, he manages to hold it for a moment before cycling between every alien transformation before throwing it back at Maltruant once again as feedback. It's revealed that the Omnitrix is a failsafe, always ensuring that Ben isn't able to die, giving him the strength to contain the Annihilag. It's then revealed that every mistransformation in the series up until this point has always been the Omnitrix looking after Ben, knowing what alien is best for the situation. We see the Prime Universe being created, revealing the release of the Slimebiots from the Quantumalia, who send them out as a way to spread DNA throughout the universe. Paradox reappears, spreading Maltruant across the universe, forcing him into a never-ending time cycle of being defeated by Ben over and over. Ben and Rook decide to go explore the stars, alongside Kevin and Gwen. Ben declares they're going on a road trip, and this is where we leave the series, ending the story of Ben 10. Thanks for watching.